Okay, we did go live here for the NGO post show. Our guest just needed just a second. I prematurely hit the start button, so that's my fault.
Here I
Um,
come, here I come, here I come, here I
okay, he's
come.
coming. He's coming. That's my bad. Oh, just a glass of water. Perfect. Okay. Our post show winner for the NGO tournament is Jermond Wiggins. He won, and we'll get right into it. How was the event for you? This is the sixth annual tournament for Jim Haymore.
Yeah, the North Georgia Open. It's an incredible event hosted by a great friend of mine, Jim Haymore. And the event, as I said before on a post on Facebook, that it's growing in attendance. It's bringing out, some competition from around the local areas. And I think that's what really makes a great local regional event is that you have the neighboring states that touch your state and those people fly in or drive however they get there to compete. So yeah, it was efficiently ran. They had everything synchronized, so they had the times, and I think they did a pretty good job.
Great. What
The
did
team.
you win at the event? And tell me a bit more on the competition side of it.
Right. So of course, um, we'll get there as far as the competition side, but the event was the open weight. This is actually sponsored by a law firm, a wild law firm. Shout out to him for sponsoring it, and that's the open weight division that I won for Jim's tournament or the North Georgia Open.
Cool. Congratulations. Was in terms of maybe not just your division, but some of the divisions around you for youth, underbelts, things like that, what did that look like?
It was packed with kids from schools that are in that area. I know Movement Martial Arts had some people there, Dojo, Atlanta Martial Arts, my
Mhm.
studio that I teach at. We had a bunch of kids there. Yeah, there was some other schools that I haven't seen before that popped up there. So United, they had a few of their students there as well. So it's a good mix of just competition in the Georgia area period. So I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun. Of course, you have so many schools that I can think of that make the melting pot, if you will, say a great competition area. Tony Young's All Star Karate, which I have his shirt. His tournament's coming up in March, so make sure you're at that one. And then yeah, I mean it's really grown over the years. I think he's had this event 6 years.
Mhm.
From the adult black belt side of things, there were some great fights that happened along the way in the divisions, not the open weight, but just the division itself. Anthony Hewitt, he's one of Tony Young's students. He won the grand champion for the regular, weight class men. So he definitely did his thing there. So it was a lot of fighters that are young national fighters. I mean, I'm an old guy, but I appreciate, being able to still get out there and try to, perform and do my best because I still can. And as I've gotten older, it's made me come to a realization that, the window's only open for so much longer, right? And then eventually, you have to bow out gracefully and say, all right, this is the last stop. But for now, we're just having fun along the way. And I definitely enjoyed my battles in the ring against those younger guys who are some young national fighters that are coming up. One I already mentioned Anthony. Then you have Justin Mingo, who's a young fighter out of Georgia, and then you had Samuel. Don't know his last name, but he's up there in Georgia as well. He's a part of Impex now, so you have a lot of talent that not even on the tournament days. They work out. We work out together on,
Right.
Saturdays, Mondays, and Sundays. So, that is where you really get to hone your skills at against national competition in the dojos and on the mats to prepare you for, opportunities as you go beyond just the local and regional tournaments. So that's something.
And that's the turnout just at the NGO, which is great. I mean, I just had Kevin Walker on the show talking about how there's like this culture in Georgia of schools supporting each other's events. Do
Oh,
you feel
absolutely.
that as well?
Oh, 100%. That is very true. And a lot of the schools, that are in the areas from the south to the north, we all get together at somewhere in the middle, where I'm seeing their students are seeing me, and it has that effect to make everyone around each other get better. I mean, you see it out there, you see these same kids, and I tell my students all the time, hey, this ain't the first time we gonna see them. You have, I mean, it's just so many schools, and as Kevin said, the culture here is beautiful. I mean, I can give you, just throw names out there, and it's like, wow, you guys really that have a great core group here. So we definitely love to support each other.
Yeah. So did you go to the first NGO tournament, say 6 years ago?
I believe so. I definitely believe I was there. I have a T-shirt somewhere. One of my hobbies
Okay.
is collecting tournament T-shirts. So
Yeah, I
I'm
mean that's a good one, especially with all these trophies being so large. I mean, I think promoters have started moving over to medals, but that's a good one where it doesn't take up too much space. But how have
put
you
it in your
seen?
suitcase.
Yeah, exactly. And you could put it in a suitcase. I feel like I should have collected more of those things when I was competing, but hindsight is 2020. How have you seen the tournament? You kind of alluded to it in terms of just turnout, but how have you seen the NGO change or transform over time?
Um, Over time, I've seen the tournament run long into the evening times to in early in the midday, and that's a part of growth. When you first do this, it's a game of having everything staged, having everything, punctual as you possibly can get it to starting the day. And, it takes a lot of practice and a lot of corrections. And I think that's something that the NGO has gotten better at as far as time efficiency getting out of there. And I think we got done somewhere around like about 4 o'clock, but that was a good time, for a big event.
Yeah, for a large event, a good turnout before dinner is always a win. So you could have
Oh
your
my
own
God.
food.
We can talk stories about being locked into a competition past midnight.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I don't think I've ever been to a tournament past midnight, thankfully.
Oh,
But past dinner I have done with grands and runoffs and all that stuff. But
yeah, yeah, those were the days, Isabella. For coming from an old man, those were the days.
well, good. Glad this one was able to each time improve, bring out some new competition. Now, tell me a little bit more about where you're going next for the rest of the year. We're just in February. What's on your competition calendar?
All right. So as far as competitions, there's one next week in Columbus, Georgia, put on by Master Juan. So it's a very good event down there, and I'll be there with some of my students. And then the following week, I believe we're gonna head out to meaning Team ATL. We're gonna head out to the Compete Nationals in California.
Great.
And then
Cool.
that following weekend is, I believe, Tony Young's All Star National. So it's a busy 3 weeks.
Yeah, this is the summer, of course, I feel like is the most busy, but we're really ramping up onto the tournament season, if we aren't already there. So you
I feel
said
like it never
bowing out.
ends.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I said I feel like the tournament season, it never ends. What do you mean a season? I mean, it never
Yeah,
ends.
no, I guess it's that like after Diamonds, or maybe I'm dating myself. Whatever the Toronto Open is the last one for in my mind, and then you go to AKA, so you have that little break of time.
Oh,
But
okay, I got you. Okay, I got what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, in that regards to like national tournaments, I think of tournament seasons. Hey, if it's somebody throwing an event on the weekend, it's a tournament.
okay,
So
yes, yeah. I guess I was thinking a little bit more national in that regard, but now you said bowing out gracefully. Tell me a little bit more, and for our viewers, your history though, and where you are, how it's brought you to where you are at now. Obviously, still competing and still winning.
oh man. So to start, that story, I guess just kind of keeping it quick here because I'm trying to get ready for the Super Bowl here. My team's not there, but it's all good. Anyway, uh, I'm a product of the Michigan Karate, if you will say Michigan Karate, being that my instructor, who is Richard Plowden, he pretty much gave me a lot of man, a lot of wisdom, and just being in that environment with him, growing up as a teenager all the way until still today. Coming from the mindset, the work ethic, everything that was inside of that dojo, still lives, inside of my competition spirit. So when it comes to preparation, I think, over the years, I've learned my lessons, because one of my flaws, and we all got flaws, was that I would not practice as much because I relied on my talent too much. And talent would only get me so far. I think we've all kind of, and maybe have experienced that before, where we felt that, oh, okay, we'll practice only a little bit there, a little bit here, but never really fully apply ourselves. And I ran into that roadblock, and that was, one of those growth moments. Like, in order to be, good at this, you really can't just rely on talent, because when talent doesn't hustle, hustle beats talent. And that's what, I was raised on. So throughout the years, I've been fortunate enough to compete during the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, now the 2020, like 4 decades, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's getting there. I recall having a conversation with an old veteran fighter about that, but that's a story for another day. And throughout, again, my career, I just been fortunate enough to have good people around me to, sponsor me, trust me. And it's a real surreal moment, when I think back of just where I started, from a kid from Detroit that had movie martial arts dreams and things, and just wanted to do karate in general. And to look back and appreciate, the hard times when, going to tournaments was a luxury. Sometimes, you couldn't go to tournaments unless, and you had it. But again, I was fortunate enough to have people around to, support me and allow me to, go out to national tournaments and compete. My first one was 1995 Bluegrass Nationals. So talk about, you know, vintage, right? And t-shirts. I do have that t-shirt. I still have that Bluegrass Nationals t-shirt. It's crazy.
That's a good one to have
But
around. I
anyways,
think that
that was,
Bluegrass
my
Nationals.
start of competing at national tournaments.
I think
And from
Bluegrass
there,
Nationals was gone before I started. When was the last year?
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's my. I think. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but the volume is down a little bit.
Okay. When I was just gonna say, I think when did the Bluegrass Nationals finish? Like when was the last
Uh,
year?
when did it finish? That's a great question. I'm not sure on that. I couldn't tell you if it was in the 2000s or the 2010s. I
Okay.
want to say maybe in the 2000s somewhere. I do recall John Sharkey had started to, throw the tournament a little bit later in the year, and it lasted for a while after that transition with John
Mhm.
Sharkey,
Mhm.
and then it just disappeared. But that was one of the premier tournaments where my first year I didn't place. Like I thought I was good coming from the karate circuit, up north, and I realized I was like, man, these folks are good too. So that just changed my whole mindset around competing, at that level, in '95, and then when I went back in '96, I actually did win, and I was in fighting, and then that was a big deal, back then
Mhm.
in those heydays when the divisions were definitely packed. So,
Yeah.
just it's been a fun ride. I've had some real good stories along the way of this martial arts journey. So over 20, no, I'm sorry, over 30, what? I'm 41, over 31 years now just from training. And
Mhm.
then, 41 years old, still able to kick and punch a little bit, and hopefully, a little bit longer. Then after that, I'm okay. I mean, it's just having fun now.
A great career. Now, any feedback for Jim? Any feedback for Jim on his event? As we wrap up the show, we always like to talk about the event. Any thoughts or messages for him?
Uh, keep doing your thing, buddy, man. Like I told you, you have a great event. It's growing in participation, and I'm looking forward to just the next one, next January. So all of you competitors, I mean that you know that are looking for just a good tournament to come and hone your skills at, win some good prize money. I mean, for a local event, he gives away $1,000, you know, and I'm just saying, you know, not many
Yeah.
events do that.
Yeah,
You
it's the
know?
national ones. That's normally the prize money for some of the
Yeah,
bigger,
that's the standard, you know,
right? You
and,
know?
and that's the standard. So that just says a lot about the quality of this event, where he tries to promote, you know, the best of the best to come out. And I mean, that's what it takes, you know. So I appreciate, you know, promoters like him. And then, you know, he definitely, you know, has a good thing in the working. So look forward to the next one.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate your time, and it was a pleasure to have you on the Power Chat series.
Hey, you're welcome. Thank you, Isabella. Power.
Yeah, I don't pull it off very well. So have a great day, guys.
Bye
Awesome.
bye.
Great. We're